Since the dawn of creation, even before time was measured, a prophecy was whispered through the winds, echoing from the deep roots of the world tree Yggdrasil. This prophecy came not from humans, nor from gods, but from fate itself, an inescapable force. There will come a day when the sky bleeds red, the earth cracks open, and the seas surge to swallow all realms. That day, gods, monsters, and men alike cannot escape their destiny. That day is called Ragnarok, the apocalypse in Norse mythology, a great battle so vast there is no victor, only an end. But behind this legend lie forgotten pieces, untold secrets, about the one-eyed prophet, the betrayer, and a world sinking into eternal darkness. Today, let us unveil the past and discover another Ragnarok, darker, more tragic, and chillingly real. At the center of Yggdrasil, where the universe's roots pierce mystical layers of reality, lies a well called Mimisbrunner, the Well of Wisdom. Within it rests the truth of past, present, and futures yet to come. But to glimpse the future, a great price must be paid. Odin, the supreme god of Asgard, master of wisdom and war, knew this price well. Not gold, not blood, but an eye, the symbol of seeing the world in full. Without hesitation, Odin plucked out one eye, cast it into the well, and from then on, he saw visions that struck terror into the gods, a future approaching, where skies bleed, earth shatters, heavens burn black, and giants rise. In this ominous dream, Odin saw Fenrir, the giant wolf, Jörmungandr, the serpent encircling the eye world, and Loki, the son once called friend, now a betrayer laughing over heaps of fallen gods. But what chilled Odin most was not his own death, but utter hopelessness. Though forewarned, though armed with Asgard's mightiest forces, he could not change fate. Ragnarok was inevitable, a cycle none could escape. From that moment, Odin was no longer the same. He quietly prepared for the end, gathering the bravest warriors in Valhalla, nurturing wisdom, forging alliances with wise beings like the giant Mimir. Yet deep inside, fear gnawed at him daily. For even the most powerful god in the sky was still mortal in fate's hands. And Ragnarok, the day of ending, advanced step by step, like the breath of a giant beast awakening beneath ancient ice. Ragnarok did not begin with clashing swords against gods. It began quietly, like a small crack spreading through the walls of time, through betrayal. Loki, called Odin's blood brother, once part of the gods' glorious deeds, laughed with Thor as they roamed the human realms, joked while Heimdall guarded the heavens, and even helped build Asgard's protective walls. Yet inside, Loki was a black hole, deep, unpredictable, nurturing resentment. When Baldur, the god of light and life, was killed by Loki's cruel prank, all ties between him and the gods shattered. Grief-stricken and furious, Odin condemned Loki to the underworld. Bound by his own son's sinews and poisoned by a serpent's venom dripping on his face, Loki endured centuries of silent curses fueling his hatred. Meanwhile, Loki's three children, Fenrir, Jörmungandr, and Hel, were scattered by the gods. The giant wolf chained with the magical Gleipnir, the serpent cast into the sea, and his daughter banished to the realm of the dead, Helheim. Even apart, they carried the bloodline of vengeance. Then, ominous signs began to appear. The moon swallowed whole. The sun darkened. Cold winds swept down from the north, freezing trees and plunging humanity into endless winters. Fimbulwinter, 3 winters without light, without summer, without hope. Men turned on each other. Bonds broke. Morality was buried beneath white snow. As order collapsed in Midgard, Fenrir's chains cracked. The seas roared as Jörmungandr stirred beneath the waves, and Loki finally broke free, screaming a vow to burn the heavens. High above, Bifrost, the rainbow bridge connecting humans to Asgard, shook. Amid blinding thunder and lightning, heavy footsteps echoed from Helheim, Jotunheim, and Niflheim, signaling an army approaching. not to conquer but to end all. At that moment, order shattered, all bonds broke, between men and men, gods and gods. No protectors remained. Only two sides stood, light and darkness, and Ragnarok had truly begun. The moment had come. The sky split open, black clouds swirling over all 9 realms. Lightning was no longer a force of nature, it was the fury of awakened gods. On the once radiant Bifrost bridge, cracks echoed with each heavy step from the realms of death, ice, and shadow. Leading the army of darkness was none other than Loki, the betrayer, now returned with a face cold as ice and eyes burning with vengeance. Beside him were monsters born of hatred: Jörmungandr, the massive serpent coiled around the world; Fenrir, the night wolf with blood-red eyes; Hel, the queen of the dead; and thousands of fallen warriors denied glory. On the other side, across the plains of Vigrid, the battlefield chosen by fate, the gods of Asgard stood ready. Odin, the All-Father, rode his 8-legged steed Sleipnir, his gaze fixed on the blackened horizon. Beside him stood Thor, the thunder god wielding Mjolnir, the hammer of storms; Frey with his sword of light; Tyr, the one-handed god; and Heimdall, guardian of the Rainbow Bridge, his eyes piercing the darkness. The horn Gjallarhorn sounded. Its cry tore through the realms, signaling that Ragnarok, the end of all things, had begun. The first clash came between Thor and Jörmungandr. Mjolnir struck the serpent's body, each blow shaking the earth and boiling the seas. Jörmungandr spewed venom, coiling around the god with crushing force. The two sworn enemies battled in a tempest of chaos. At last, Thor delivered a fatal blow that felled the serpent, but he managed only 9 steps before succumbing to the poison, dying in glory, the protector of mankind. Elsewhere on the battlefield, Odin charged at Fenrir. Though he had foreseen his end, he did not waver. Swords slashed, spears struck, but Fenrir, the monstrous wolf bearing millennia of hate, did not relent. It leapt and devoured Odin in a single fiery bite. But the All-Father's death was not in vain. From the smoke and blood, Vidar, Odin's son, emerged. Wearing boots crafted from all the scraps of human leather, he clamped the wolf's jaws and drove his sword through its heart, avenging his father with the beast's end. Meanwhile, Heimdall faced Loki on the crumbling Bifrost. Once sworn brothers, now mortal foes, they fought savagely, light battling chaos. In a final blinding clash, they struck each other down. Light and shadow perished together. Frey, god of fertility, confronted Surtr, the fire giant from Muspelheim wielding a blazing sword that could scorch the sky. Though lacking his sacred weapon, Frey fought with courage and loyalty. But Surtr's fire proved too fierce. Frey fell, and the flames consumed all hope. Then Surtr raised his fiery sword high and set Yggdrasil, the world tree, ablaze. Flames spread through the 9 realms. Seas boiled, earth cracked, mountains crumbled. Everything, from the heavens of Asgard to the mortal realm of Midgard and the underworld of Helheim, was swallowed in the final inferno. When the battle ended, there were no victors. Gods and monsters alike had fallen. The heavens and earth were reduced to ash. Only silence remained. Yet from those ashes, something strange began to stir. A few beings survived, 2 humans, Lif and Lifthrasir, hidden within the shelter of Yggdrasil, now stepped into the light. Young gods re-emerged: Baldur, Hodr, Magni, Modi, and Vidar, carrying new hope. A new sun rose, the daughter of the Old One, casting the first light after the end of the world. And so, when all seemed lost, life began anew. For Ragnarok was not only death, it was rebirth, an eternal cycle that never ceases. When Surtr's fire had burned out and all that remained was ash, a deep silence blanketed the 9 realms. But within that stillness, a miracle began to bloom, a sign of rebirth, of a new cycle repeating once again. In the shadows of Yggdrasil, Lif and Lifthrasir, the only 2 humans to survive the apocalypse, emerged. They were symbols of hope and renewal, the first green shoots of a world to be reborn. From them, humanity would rise again, rebuilding from the wreckage of the past. Not only mortals, but gods too returned. Balder, the god of light and justice, and his brother Hodr reappeared in the new dawn. Other young gods like Magni and Modi, sons of Thor and Vidar, who had avenged his father, also returned, bringing strength and faith. Together, they would forge a new era where peace and justice could be restored. A new sun rose, no longer the old one burned away in fire, but a new generation of light, a flame of life and hope shining across the skies after the darkest days. Ragnarok, the apocalypse of Norse mythology, was not just an end, but a new beginning. It was an eternal wheel of death and rebirth, a lesson that in every destruction a flicker of light remains, a chance to start anew. This tale reminds us that no matter how harsh the trials, no matter how deep the darkness, light and life will return, stronger than ever before. Ragnarok is not merely a story of gods dying, but a fierce affirmation of endurance and the power to overcome fate.
Thank you so much for taking the time to watch the video. If you found the video helpful and interesting, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell so you won't miss any future videos. Wishing you a wonderful day, and see you in the next video.